I'm Luis Martinez, and let me tell you, I always took pride in my quiet suburban home. Treeline Street, end of the block, my sanctuary. Loved the morning quiet, the neat hedges, the driveway I just had repaved. It was one of those neighborhoods where people waved, respected boundaries. Peaceful, orderly, until she showed up. It was a Tuesday morning, heading out for work, coffee in hand, and bam, there's this shiny white SUV parked diagonally across my driveway, blocking my car in completely. First thought? Delivery driver mistake? Contractor for a neighbor? Happens, right? Didn't want to fly off the handle. Went back inside, scribbled a polite note. Hi, private property, please don't park here. Kindly move ASAP. Thanks. Stuck it under the wiper. Figured they'd be back soon. An hour passed. Then another. Now I'm late for work. Annoyed, but still patient. Called my boss, arranged to work from home. By lunchtime, her still there. Note untouched. Okay, let's check this thing out. Newer model SUV, spotless, tinted windows. No bumper stickers, nothing to ID the owner. Wrote down the license plate, just in case. Still giving the benefit of the doubt, maybe an emergency? Evening comes, sun setting, streetlights flicker on. SUV? Still there, gleaming under the lights. What the heck? Decided to ask around. Walked next door, knocked. Mrs. Thompson, sweet elderly lady, answered. Pointed to the SUV. Know whose car this is? Oh no, she said, squinting. Don't recognize it. Strange place to park. Asked a few other neighbors. Same story. Baffled. Some were even mad on my behalf. Unheard of. Someone just blocking a driveway like that here. Went back home, frustrated, uneasy. Stared at the car from my window. Who does that? Next morning, SUV still there. And the note I left? Crumpled on the ground. Okay, patience gone. This wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate disrespect. Picked up the crumpled note, irritation flaring. Called the non-emergency police line. Explained the situation. Officer was polite, but basically said, private property, civil matter. Can't ticket it or tow it without your authorization. Suggested leaving another note, documenting everything. Fine. Wrote a second note, much more direct. Private property. Trespassing. Remove vehicle immediately or I will take legal action. Taped it right to the driver's side window. Took photos, car, note, driveway. Documented. End of the day, SUV finally gone. Relief. Maybe they got the message across. Nope. Next morning, white SUV. Back again. Same spot. This time parked at an even worse angle, completely blocking my garage door. Couldn't even back my car out if I tried. Anger surged. Grabbed my phone, stormed outside, ready to call the cops again. Then I saw her. Woman, mid-40s maybe, walking briskly down the sidewalk towards the SUV. Impeccably dressed, designer handbag, oversized sunglasses. Strutting like she owned the place. I approached her, calm but firm, determined to end this. Excuse me, I said, stepping in front of the car. Is this your vehicle? She barely glanced at me, unlocking the SUV with a chirp. Yeah, it's mine, she said nonchalantly, opening the door. This is private property, I said, voice steady but tight. You can't park here. I've left notes. Called the police. This is my driveway. She finally looked at me, lowering her sunglasses. Sharp, annoyed eyes. Relax, she scoffed. It's just a driveway. I'll be out of here soon. Don't make such a big deal. I couldn't believe it. It is a big deal. It's my property. You're trespassing. You need to stop parking here. She rolled her eyes. My street is full, okay? Nowhere else to park. Only be here a little while. Just deal with it. Before I could even respond, she hopped in, started the engine, backed out, and sped off. No apology, nothing. Just gone. Stood there, fist clenched. That sinking feeling returned. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Over the next few days, I kept a vigilant eye on my driveway. Half expected the SUV back any minute. Parked my own car strategically to block easy access. Even installed a small security camera over the garage, aimed right at the driveway. Frustrating, but I hoped my direct confrontation had maybe, finally, sunk in. Then, quiet Thursday morning, the SUV reappeared. Not just parked, but positioned sideways, taking up the entire driveway, spilling onto the sidewalk. Like she went out of her way to be as obnoxious as possible. Couldn't get my car out even if I wanted to. My stomach churned. Grabbed my phone, ready to call the cops again. But before I could dial, I saw her. Same woman, now in yoga pants and an expensive jacket, strutting down the sidewalk, coffee cup in hand. Moving leisurely, head held high. Saw me on my porch, smirked, and gave a casual little wave like we were buddies. Blood pressure spiked. "Excuse me," I called out, stepping off the porch, walking towards her. "We need to talk." She didn't break stride. "Oh, good morning," she said, tone dripping dismissal and condescension. "Nice day, isn't it?" Forced myself to stay calm. "Is this your car?" I asked, gesturing to the monstrosity blocking my entire driveway. "Of course it is," she said, sipping her coffee. "Why? You're parked in my driveway." "Again. We've talked about this. You can't park here. Private property." She stopped, tilted her head like I was speaking Martian. "Look," she said, faux patience thick in her voice. "I already told you. My street is crowded. Nowhere else to park. Only be here a little while. Not a big deal." "It is a big deal." My voice rose despite my efforts. "My driveway. You don't have the right just because it's convenient for you." She shrugged. "Oh, come on. Don't be so uptight. Not hurting anyone. You're trespassing," I said firmly. "Already contacted the police. Don't stop parking here. I'll have your car towed." Her smirk vanished. Eyes narrowed. "You wouldn't dare," she said, voice low, challenging. "Try me," I shot back. Silence. Intense stare down. Finally, she scoffed, waved dismissively, walked back to her SUV, climbed in, slammed the door, peeled out, tires screeching. Stood there, fist clenched. Relief mixed with lingering anger. She was gone for now. But this wasn't stopping. Later that day, I printed out a big "No parking, private driveway. Violators will be towed" sign. Placed it right at the edge of my driveway. Maybe that would deter her. Reviewed the security footage, got clear shots of her car, her attitude. If she came back, I was ready. Next morning, SUV back, parked right in front of the sign. And the sign? Knocked over, lying face down on the grass. My heart sank. Jaw clenched. Marched over to the car, ready to leave another note. As I approached, she appeared out of nowhere, walking fast down the sidewalk, phone pressed to her ear. "What do you think you're doing?" I demanded as she got close. She lowered her phone, gave me a bored look. "What does it look like?" "I'm parking. In my driveway." My voice was tight with anger. "You're trespassing." "Again?" "Oh, for God's sake," she rolled her eyes. "Just a driveway. Why make such a big deal? Don't you have anything better to do? This is my property." My patience snapped. "You don't have the right. I warned you. Now I'm telling you, move your car, or I'm calling the police." She crossed her arms, defiant stare. "Go ahead," she said. "Call them. See if I care." "They won't do anything." Stunned by her audacity, pulled out my phone, started dialing. Before I hit call, she stepped closer, voice dropping to a threatening whisper. "Listen, buddy," she said, eyes flashing. "I live here too. Just as much right to be here as you. Take your little power trip and shove it." Took a step back, shocked by her hostility. "This isn't a power trip. It's about respecting property. You're breaking the law." She laughed, sharp and bitter. "Oh, please. It's a driveway, not Fort Knox. Get over yourself." She turned, walked away, disappeared into a nearby house, slamming the door. So, she did live nearby. Explained the entitlement, maybe. Didn't make it legal or right. Finished the call to the police. Explained everything, again. License plate, repeated trespassing. Officer assured me they'd send someone to issue a warning to her. Advised documenting everything, considered towing if it persisted. That evening, saw a police car pull up to her house. 2 officers knocked. Watched her argue wildly, gesturing, arms flailing. Officers left after a few minutes. She stood in her doorway, glaring across the street at me. I met her gaze. Refused to back down. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. I'm usually a patient guy, reasonable. But weeks of this back and forth with Karen? My patience was shot. The police warning seemed to do nothing. The confrontation just made her angrier. Her disregard for my property, my boundaries, it was personal now. I was done being nice. The day after the police visit, I woke up early, checked the driveway. And there it was, her white SUV, parked right there. Again, she hadn't just ignored the police warning. She was actively defying it. It felt like she was taunting me, daring me to do something. Okay, Karen. Challenge accepted. Grabbed my phone. Snapped photos from every angle. SUV blocking my garage, license plate clear. Even got the knocked over, no parking sign in the shot. Timestamped everything. Added it to the growing evidence folder. This wasn't just about getting my driveway back anymore. It was about building an airtight case. Then, I called the non-emergency police line one last time. Tone firm, direct. Explained the situation. Fourth time reporting. Documented everything. Police warning ignored. She's still trespassing. I need to take further action, I stated. The officer listened patiently. Since you've issued warnings, and she's been officially warned by law enforcement, you are within your rights to have the vehicle towed, he confirmed. Contact a licensed towing company. Keep all your documentation. That was all I needed. Researched local towing services. Found a reputable one. Explained the situation clearly. Dispatcher assured me they could handle it. Sent a truck within the hour. Felt a little guilty, honestly. Towing someone's car felt extreme. But what else could I do? Reasoning failed. Warnings failed. Police intervention failed. She left me no choice. Tow truck arrived. Burly driver, friendly guy. Showed him the photos, the notes, explained the situation. He nodded knowingly. See this stuff all the time, he said, shaking his head. Some folks just got no respect. Signed the authorization. Within minutes, he had the SUV hooked up. Process was fast, efficient. Couldn't help glancing towards Karen's house, half expecting her to burst out screaming. Street was quiet though. Her blinds drawn. As the tow truck pulled away, Karen's SUV dangling behind it, I felt this huge surge of satisfaction. Finally, took back control. Knew she wouldn't be happy, but maybe, just maybe, this would finally send the message. Later that afternoon, towing company called. Karen had contacted them to get her car back, furious about the fee. Dispatcher chuckled relaying the story. She wasn't happy, but nothing she can do. Everything's by the book. Vindicated. But the victory was short-lived. That evening, loud, aggressive knock at my door. Knew who it was. Karen. Face red, clutching the towing receipt like a weapon. Are you out of your mind? She screamed before I could say a word. You had my car towed? Do you know how much they charged? This is harassment. Took a deep breath. Kept my voice calm, measured. Karen, I warned you. Multiple times. Notes, spoke to you directly, police warning. You ignored all of it. Consequence of your actions. Her eyes widened, like she couldn't believe I wasn't cowering. It's just a driveway, she shouted. You didn't have to go this far. I did talk to you, I said firmly. Several times. You chose to ignore me, continue trespassing. Respect boundaries. You left me no choice. She threw her hands up. This isn't over, she spat. You're going to regret this. I crossed my arms, met her glare. Threaten me all you want. Then everything by the book. Park here again. I'll tow your car again. Simple. She stormed off, muttering threats, stomped back to her house. Watched her go, relieved but also apprehensive. Knew this wasn't the end. Evening wore on. Reviewed my security footage again. Got the whole towing process documented. Felt a sense of closure, knowing I'd handled it legally, ethically. But deep down, couldn't shake the feeling Karen wasn't done. A storm was brewing. Needed to be ready. The uneasy peace after the towing incident lasted exactly one day. Woke up the next morning, driveway blessedly empty. Felt good. Maybe, just maybe, Karen finally got the message. Started my coffee, actually felt relaxed for the first time in weeks. Then, mid-morning, aggressive knock at the door. Opened it. Karen. Again. Arms crossed, seething. But this time, her expression wasn't just angry, it was triumphant. Like she thought she had me cornered. You're going to regret what you did, she announced immediately. Just got back from the impound lot. Let me tell you, they weren't happy with your little stunt. I raised an eyebrow. I followed every legal procedure, Karen. Police confirmed it. Your issue is with the towing company, not me. She smirked, clearly waiting for that response. Oh, don't worry, I already have talked to them, she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. And guess what? You'll be hearing from my lawyer. What you did? Harassment. Plain and simple. Going to make sure everyone in this neighborhood knows exactly what kind of person you are. My temper flared, but I kept my voice calm. You repeatedly trespassed, Karen. I documented everything. Involve lawyers if you want. But you're not going to intimidate me. She narrowed her eyes. You'll see, she hissed, and stormed off again. Wow. So, she was actually going to sue me? After everything she'd done? Unbelievable. Couldn't shake the feeling she wasn't done causing trouble closer to home, either. Over the next few days, the petty retaliation began. Mailbox stuffed with junk mail, subscriptions I never signed up for. Pile of leaves dumped on my driveway again, right after I swept it. Couldn't prove it was her directly, but come on. Installed another security camera, this one better hidden, covering the mailbox and front walkway. And yep, 2 days later, got her. Clear footage, Karen, late at night, walking up to my mailbox, shoving flyers inside, then scattering leaves from a bag onto my driveway before scurrying back home. Saved the video. Added it to the evidence file. Word about the towing and Karen's subsequent meltdown spread. Most neighbors were firmly on my side now. People started sharing their own Karen stories more openly. Martha Hill, the retired teacher, told me Karen had tried bullying her into cutting down a perfectly healthy tree just because it shaded Karen's precious rose bushes. She thrives on conflict, Martha warned again. Be careful. She won't stop until she feels she's won. Appreciated the support, but the constant vigilance was exhausting. Always looking over my shoulder. Then, the final straw. Came home from work. Bright orange sign taped to my garage door. Bold letters. Violation. Illegal towing of vehicle. Neighborhood council investigation pending. A prank? No. Fine print revealed Karen had filed a formal complaint with the Homeowners Association, the one I wasn't even part of, accusing me of improper conduct. Claimed my actions were under review, might face penalties if found guilty of violating community guidelines. Furious doesn't begin to cover it. Police confirmed I was legal. HOA had zero jurisdiction. This was pure, baseless harassment. Couldn't ignore it, though. Had to respond formally, shut this down. Gathered all my evidence. Photos, videos, including the vandalism, police report copies, notes. Drafted a detailed letter to the HOA board. Outlined Karen's repeated trespassing, my multiple attempts to resolve it peacefully, the legal justification for the tow. Included the security footage of her vandalism. Argued her behavior was the real disruption to the community. Submitted the letter. Board members assured me they'd review it, schedule a meeting. The HOA meeting was tense. Community center, 2 weeks later. Packed room. Karen sat near the front, smug, surrounded by a few friends. Meeting started. Karen launched into her victim tirade. Accused me of being a bully, targeting her, causing her stress, financial hardship. Claimed I towed her SUV out of spite. Then my turn. Calmly, methodically, presented my evidence. Photos, videos, written warnings, police report. Showed the footage of her vandalizing my property. Explained I only towed after multiple warnings, police confirmation it was legal. The room was silent as I finished. Board members exchanged uneasy glances. They knew Karen was trouble, but the evidence against her this time was overwhelming. Finally, the HOA president, Thomas Baker, spoke. After reviewing the evidence, he announced, his voice firm, it's clear Mr. Martinez acted within his rights regarding the vehicle parked on his private property. The complaint against him is dismissed. Karen's face turned red. She started to protest. Furthermore, Baker continued, cutting her off. We've reviewed the security footage provided by Mr. Martinez. Ms. Stevens, your behavior, trespassing, vandalism, violates community standards. A formal warning will be issued. Any further incidents may result in penalties. Karen stormed out, her fringe trailing behind like scolded puppies. Relief washed over me. Exhausting, yes. But I'd stood my ground, used facts, and won. Neighbors congratulated me as I left. In the days that followed, Karen kept a low profile. SUV stayed away. Vandalism stopped. Seemed she finally learned her lesson. Or maybe just realized fighting me wasn't worth it anymore. The experience? A brutal reminder to stand up for yourself, even when it's exhausting. Hopefully, I'd never deal with Karen again. But if I did, I was ready. The HOA meeting felt like the end of the war, but Karen Stevens wasn't the type for unconditional surrender. The weeks after were quiet, almost unsettlingly so. My driveway remained blessedly empty. The petty vandalism stopped. It seemed like maybe, just maybe, the public shaming and the official warning had finally sunk in. I started to relax, let my guard down just a little. But that nagging feeling persisted. Karen wasn't gone. She was just quiet. And knowing her personality, quiet often meant plotting. That suspicion turned out to be dead on. One Saturday morning, I opened my front door to get the mail. And there it was. Not the HOA, not Karen directly, but something much more official. An envelope from a law firm, Stevens and Clark. My stomach did a slow, cold flip. Karen had followed through. She was actually suing me. Sat down at the kitchen table, hands slightly trembling, opened the heavy paper. Formal lawsuit. Accused me of causing Karen emotional distress, financial harm from the towing fee, I guess, and public humiliation because I'd had her illegally parked SUV towed from my private property. Claimed my actions were unreasonable, part of a broader campaign to target and harass her. Demanded $10,000 in damages. Threatened more legal action if I didn't comply within 14 days. Disbelief warred with fury. Emotional distress? After she repeatedly trespassed, vandalized my property, ignored police warnings? Public humiliation? She brought that on herself. This was pure retaliation, an attempt to weaponize the legal system because she couldn't bully me directly anymore. But I wasn't giving in. Not now. I immediately called Emily Rowe, the lawyer who'd advised me before. Faxed her the lawsuit papers. Emily called back within the hour, her voice sharp. Classic Karen, she sighed. Frivolous lawsuit. Pure intimidation. She's trying to scare you into settling, make you pay just to make her go away. Don't fall for it, Louise. She doesn't have a legal leg to stand on. I'm not backing down, I said, my voice tight with anger. I did nothing wrong. Good, Emily said firmly. Because we have a rock-solid defense. Let's draft our response. Over the next week, we worked on it. Meticulously detailed response, laying out the entire timeline again. Attached all the evidence. Photos, videos, police reports, the HOA's own dismissal of her complaint, the neighbor testimonies about her behavior. Our response didn't just deny her claims, it painted her as the aggressor, the harasser, the one acting illegally. We ended it with a clear statement. Bruce would not pay a dime, and any further legal action would be vigorously contested. We also hinted at filing our own countersuit for malicious prosecution. Emily sent the response to Karen's lawyers. Then, we waited. The stress was back, thick and heavy. Lawsuits are draining time, money, emotional energy. I worried constantly. How far would she push this? 2 weeks later, another letter from the court. Karen was officially proceeding with the lawsuit. The amount hadn't changed, but now she'd added defamation to the list. Claimed I'd spread false information about her to neighbors. The court date was set for 6 weeks out. In the meantime, Karen kept up her victim act in the neighborhood. Not openly hostile anymore, just spreading rumors, trying to poison the well. Telling people I'd targeted her out of spite, was obsessed with her, manipulated the HOA. It was frustrating, but I refused to engage in the gossip. Let the court decide based on facts. As the court date loomed, Emily prepared relentlessly. We weren't just defending, we were going on the offensive. Filed the countersuit against Karen, trespassing, harassment, vandalism, and malicious prosecution for filing a bogus lawsuit. Emily reached out to the neighbors who'd offered support before, got formal, sworn statements about Karen's history of boundary pushing and conflict creation. Many were eager to help, tired of Karen's antics and glad someone was finally holding her accountable. The day of the court hearing arrived. Courthouse again. Nerves jangling, but determination solid. Karen was there, flanked by her lawyer and a few loyal friends, shooting me that same smug smile. Clearly thought she could charm or bully her way through this too. Inside, her lawyer presented her case first. Painted Karen as this poor, misunderstood woman, unfairly targeted. Claimed the towing caused her immense distress, financial hardship, damaged her reputation. Karen took the stand, put on the waterworks, dabbing her eyes, talking about the humiliation, the fear. It was Oscar-worthy, I'll give her that. Then, our turn. Emily was a machine. Calm, precise, confident. She dismantled Karen's claims piece by piece. Presented the photos, the videos, Karen trespassing, Karen vandalizing. Played the security footage. Showed the police report validating the tow. Read the HOA's dismissal of Karen's complaint. Presented the sworn statements from neighbors detailing Karen's long history of aggressive and manipulative behavior. When Karen was cross-examined by Emily, it was brutal. Emily confronted her with the evidence, the inconsistencies in her story. Karen got flustered, defensive, started contradicting herself. Her victim act crumbled under scrutiny. By the end of the hearing, the judge looked utterly unconvinced by Karen's case. The ruling came swiftly. Karen's lawsuit? Dismissed. In its entirety. Judge called her claims unsupported, retaliatory, frivolous. Then, the countersuit. Judge ruled in my favor. Found Karen liable for trespassing and harassment. Ordered her to pay damages, not a huge amount, but enough to cover my legal fees and send a clear message. Karen's smugness evaporated. She looked stunned, pale as the judge read the ruling. The tables hadn't just turned, they'd been flipped upside down. Leaving the courthouse, relief washed over me, so intense I felt lightheaded. It was finally, truly, over. Neighbors who'd come to support me clapped me on the back. Even Martha Hill gave me a warm smile. "You did the right thing, Louise," she said. "Hopefully, she's learned her lesson this time." Karen? She practically ran out of the courthouse, avoiding everyone. Her reputation in the neighborhood, already shaky, was now completely destroyed. She kept to herself after that. Her SUV? Never saw it near my driveway again. It was a long, hard-fought victory. Stressful, expensive, emotionally draining. But standing up for my rights, refusing to be intimidated, proving the truth? Absolutely worth it. The peace returned to my quiet corner of the world, and this time, I knew it was here to stay.